The only problem with the lighting, I look so pale compared to you. Have you noticed that?
Well,
I
the
think
truth,
our
the truth hurts.
I think our complexions are actually much closer than they appear. I'm not saying I'm as tan as you. I think you're tanner. Don't get me wrong.
I'm pretty tan.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm ready. All right, it's on me.
What are you, SpongeBob?
I'm ready. Okay.
Welcome to Crosstown Cardboard, episode 65, with myself, Carmine, at Carmine's Cards, the sports storyteller down here in Greenville, South Carolina, originally from Westchester County, New York, aka Crosstown, from where my friend Craig at New York City Sports Cards grew up on Long Island, and now he's in New York City as a math teacher and soccer coach. And Craig is on a freaking roll with these titles. I mean, as usual, he hops on the train, he doesn't hop off. The title of episode 65 is "We've Been Gettin' Busy," and we put an apostrophe after the N. Craig will explain that. But Craig, how are you doing, and how were you inspired for this title of episode 65?
I'm feeling good. You didn't wish me a happy Hanukkah, but that is okay. We'll let it slide. You still have 2 more nights to wish me a happy Hanukkah. It's only night 6.
I'll wish you one at least before that day. I promise.
I will let it slide. But we've been getting busy. First of all, getting Gettin apostrophe, as I best described it, is properly improper. A way to say it. That's more of our style. But
Yes.
where did the title come from? We had Cousin Oz on last week as a guest, who was an amazing guest. Great
Yeah.
feedback on that one. Where Oz talked about getting his Grail, the Iverson 97 game jersey autograph, and scribed the answer in a PSA 9 with the 10 auto pop 1.
Mm-hmm.
But because we recorded that last week, you and I have not had a chance to catch up in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, we talk about our buying and our selling and our trading and our stories. So we've got 2 weeks worth of stories. So not only has there been a lot of time since we've caught up, but I can only speak for myself here. It's been a busy 2 weeks as far as transactions in this hobby are concerned. So got a lot to get into here in a lot of different environments, card shows, card shops, online. So excited to catch up, see what you've been up to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We both been getting busy. And yeah, I agree with what you said about the Oz episode. That was really great. Oz, the people's mailman, just a great guy in the hobby and a great friend of ours, outside, hanging out at the National, everybody getting together, you on the Northeast, having a better chance to connect with all of our guys. So we have been getting busy. I have some cards here to show off. I don't want to give away too much. We also have Craig went to sorry, what's that? What's that, bro?
Oh, sorry. The cards are speaking. What's up, as you were?
The cards were talking to us, and that's why we have to relay those messages to you guys. So we're going to talk about Craig going to a show. I have some pickups and a nice gift and another little inscription action going.
Hey, now.
And then we may have a card conflict between Craig and I toward the end of this because of a card that one of us picked up that the other, I'm not going to give it all away. But Craig, how was the Hofstra show? And I know you also saw our boy Big Ken.
Yes, sir. So I'm not really able to go to shows too much in the fall because it's coaching every Saturday, every Sunday. But we are in the winter season, so a little bit of time opens up here. So I've been meeting for the longest time. Hofstra, by the way, is a college on Long Island, if anyone doesn't know. And that was one of the shows I grew up going to. I've been going to the Hofstra show since I was 9, 10 years old.
Wow.
So the nostalgia factor alone, the show is automatically a win for me. Now, it worked out that my parents, who still live on Long Island, I've been meaning to for the longest time to go back to their place, sit down, and draw out a big map of our family and our cousins and everything. To really get an idea of like where me and my family come from, country of origin, ancestors, and all that. So I did a little double dip action. I went to the Hofstra show. I went to see my parents.
Wow.
So,
okay. So this was like opposite of the Denver trip, because Denver, you went for the family and found a card show. But for Hofstra, you had a card show to go to. You found the family.
I never thought about it like that, but that is pretty spot on. So I got up this past Sunday, nice and early. Took a train out to Hempstead on the Long Island Railroad. Big Ken, Shout out to Big Ken. Love Big Ken.
Yep.
Well, spending time with him, being in the same square as him as Hofstra. He picked me up from the train station, drove me to Hofstra, and my plan was to walk the show, but Ken had a dealer set up for me. So we had a nice square there, and Ken had 2 showcases. He left me a little smaller showcase, and the 4 hours I was at the show, I would say maybe 60% of it I was walking around, 40% I was behind the table. And for the 4 hours I was there, I would say that I made the most of it. I had a really good time. I bought, I sold, I traded,
Okay.
I picked up PC cards. It was a W. It was a W day for sure.
I am thoroughly teased. And also shout out to Big Ken because, to help you out, get you a table setup spot, when you weren't expecting it.
Next to him if I didn't.
With Big Ken, who, by the way, has big card energy. Big Ken. I'm serious. That guy's there to do business. He's very nice. He's great to hang out with. And my roommate at the National. So me and Big Ken, we're really able to hit it off. And I agree. I mean, what a great guy. So he set you up. So what was happening? Take me through before we get to the PC pieces, or maybe this ties in. When you were set up as a dealer next to Big Ken, what was the action looking like?
So I'm seeing guys next to me making these deals for $3,000, $3,200, big crazy card deals. And I have finally hit a point as a collector and as a participant in this hobby where if I look to my left and I see someone making these $3,000 deals, just like it's nothing, I no longer think like, oh shoot, how do I get to that point? I just think like, it's not the level that I operate in, and that's okay. I'm happy with the way what my setup looks like.
Yeah.
I didn't have too much out at my table because I don't really have a ton of inventory, but still I had a bunch of game used patch cards. I had my Kevin Durant Prism autograph. I didn't really take a picture of my table, but stuff like this, right? I got this really nice Allen Iverson 3-color jersey card out of 25. I picked this up from Diverse Collection, formerly the Skyrie.
Yep. Yes. Great guy. Yep.
But I had been doing a bunch of buying in the last 2 weeks since we last spoke. Why? I knew I was going to Hofstra. I am going to be set up at Bleecker on Saturday, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And then there's obviously Culture Collision in Atlanta. So I'm thinking, people say the market is down right now. It's a good time to buy. I know that I have 3 major events coming up. Let me buy for these events. And I bought, I prepared, and it kind of worked out for me. So what should I get into first?
Well, what were you selling? What was working for you specifically? Okay. Or how are the profits, stuff like that?
So the big sale that I made for the day, I bought this card and sold this card since we last spoke, but I purchased a 2000 Upper Deck Derek Jeter autographed game jersey card. Super tough to pull back in the 2000s. Yeah. I also had my Kevin Durant 2012 Prism, the first year Prism, autograph in a PSA 10. I was able to sell both of those cards to 2 guys from New York. Love that. They were set up at the show. I don't have the name off the top of my head. From the Bronx, which coincidentally, that's where my grandmother and a lot of her cousins and parents, they settled when they moved to America from Russia and Poland.
Okay.
So the New York, the Bronx connection, there were 2 guys set up there from the Bronx. They purchased my Kevin Durant autograph and my Jeter jersey autograph for $1,050.
Wow.
Now,
that's good.
I was into those cards for $1,025.
Okay.
Which might sound like you went through all that time just to make $25. The Kevin Durant was a dig yourself out of a hole card. So I was able to trade a bunch of little stuff into the Durant a couple months ago. The Jeter I just recently purchased. And look, in this market, in this economy, if someone wants to give me $1,000, especially during the holiday time, especially at a time when I'm buying, I'll take it because those were not cards that I was going to keep anyway. So that freed up some cash for the show.
Okay, there you go. I mean, it doesn't have to always be a victory. Sometimes, I mean, it was a small victory. Yeah. And you still came out with a small victory. But at the same time, even sometimes in certain situations, that's a good lesson because breaking even and freeing up that money, depending on what your hobby goals are, at the time, as far as if you're looking to purchase, if you're looking to free up some cash, you're low on cash, whatever the situation is, sometimes breaking even is a smart move, like you're talking about.
Yeah. And, I can look at the comps and everything as I'm trying to sell these cards. The two guys were very friendly. I almost didn't really care what the comps were, because if they were offering X and I know I'm into it for Y, okay, let's do the deal. If they make a little something on it, sure. But
Right.
my first buy of the day, it is something I really love about cards, is how much joy you can get out of a $25 purchase.
Right.
And I think you know which one's coming. 1997-98 SP Authentic, Sign of the Times, on-card autograph, Allen Houston. I mean, look at this. The die cut.
That's an incredible card. I
Amazing card.
remember you posted that right in your story, and I wrote, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, $25, but 97, hardly any autograph issued pack pulled cards back then, and the iconic Sign of the Times. Do you know what year they started making Sign of the Times? Was that the first year? Got to be close.
Has to be the first year. Someone fact check me on that. But I actually don't have any Allen Houston cards in my Knicks PC, so this was
really
perfect. Nice clean negotiation. I didn't even ask for the price. I said, "Can I give you $20 for this?" He said, "Can you do 40?"
Oh,
I said, he's like, "You know what, 30." So I took $25 cash out of my pocket, and I said, "Here's 25 cash. I'm a Knicks collector. It's going to stay with me forever." Deal done. So,
okay,
$25 for that Allen Houston card. So that was amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I realized in the process of this, my goal when I go to a show is to leave that show with a new card that's going to be in my personal collection.
I like that. That's a good goal, because that probably sets your expectations that the card show is not just going to be about the business, which I like too.
Definitely. But I didn't make another few sales. Like, I had a couple of New York Rangers patch cards that I had no use for. Sold a couple of those. I didn't even show you this. I had a 2018, 2019 Panini Flawless, Isaiah Thomas, the younger Isaiah Thomas from the Nuggets, the gold out of 10. Gold out of 10.
I saw that somehow.
Okay.
I don't know if you showed it to me or what it was, but yeah. No, I remember.
Patch autograph, and I'm set up at the show next to Big Ken, and a kid comes up to me. I'm like, literally kid, like 9, 10, 11 years old. He said, "Hey, I really like the card, and here is that said card."
Right. That's cool. Yeah.
And he showed me this Eli Manning rookie card, on-card autograph.
Mm-hmm.
And he offered me this plus $10 for the Isaiah Thomas. I paid $70 for the Isaiah Thomas. So the way I look at the math was, I'm into this Eli Manning autograph on-card, not graded, but PSA DNA authentic for $60. That felt like a no-brainer.
And what are the comps on that Manning?
More than that.
That's good.
Yeah. So that felt like a good win. What else did I see at the show?
Plus a little more New York connection. That's always nice. I mean, when he was growing up, when we were growing up, and he was growing up as an NFL quarterback, winning those 2 Super Bowls, that's a all-time sports memory for any New York kids, especially both over the Patriots. That Giants defense was really the winner, especially that D line, and a couple magical moments. I mean, that's a cool little trade. Unexpected too from a young guy.
Yes.
Isaiah
very
Thomas,
unexpected.
when he had that 1 year where he broke out on the Celtics, 30, 29 points a game, at 5'9", and then the Nuggets unfortunately didn't pan out too much after that. But what a weird trade. Why do you think that kid, was he like a Nuggets fan, or what was the deal?
He just said, "This is a cool card." And I'm like, you're right. This is a cool card. It's flawless. It's a game-worn chunky patch. It's an autograph. It's the gold out of 10. I'm like, kid, you got good taste, my guy.
Oh, wow.
I
buttered him up. You buttered him up for the deal.
He offered it. But hey, being behind the table, at that moment I was behind the table, there is such an advantage of being behind the table. People bring their stuff to you.
Yep. And they're much more friendly about, like, there's not like they're expecting you to be a little harder on them because you're a dealer. They don't. In the other direction, it's not quite as easy, depending on who it is. I mean, but there's usually that kind of understanding there.
Yeah. But I'm trying. People like some stuff at my table. They're definitely looking at other tables way more than mine, and that's fine with me because I like what I like. But here's another walk-up and a card that I purchased.
Okay.
Wasn't expecting this one. I know we don't like BGS 8.5s, but another younger kid. This kid was a little bit older, maybe 17, 18. He's really desperate for cash. He had a card that I liked, and I said, you know what? I'll buy this from you. Jalen Brunson.
Oh, boy.
Contenders.
Okay.
Rookie on-card autograph out of 65.
Wow. The rookie ticket. Dude, that's nice.
Nice, right? So
what is it numbered out of again?
65. And I know
65. Okay. Weird
I
numbering.
like collecting Brunson in the Knicks uniform, but for a rookie, for an on-card, I'll make an exception.
And that's an iconic set, the rookie ticket, Contenders, especially for football, but also, basketball.
What do you think I paid for this?
An 8.5 numbered out of 65. I'm going to say you probably got a pretty good deal on it. I'm going to say like 125.
You're so good. You're so good.
Was it?
It was 120.
Let's go.
Yeah. Well, it's actually funny you say that because he said, I'm like, I'll give you 100. And he said, I've already gotten a 120 offer on it. I'm like, eventually I'm like, I'll match that offer. And he's like, can you give me 125? I'm like, I will give you 120. So we closed the deal.
Wow. You stopped the kid for $5.
No,
you told him that was your best offer.
No,
you told him that was your best offer.
He wasn't going to take the deal at 120 when this kid was desperate to free up cash. So I'm like, listen, if someone offered you 120, I will gladly take that 120.
Right.
Here's my favorite buy of the show. And here's something
do you believe when people like that, I think that's an interesting thing to just touch on real quick. Do you think when people say I have an offer at that price, what percentage of the time would you say they actually have the offer that they're saying they have?
This kid reeked of desperation, of like needing to free up cash, that I don't think he was lying. Also, the 120 price made sense. Like, I didn't get a crazy deal on it, but it's better it's a better price than I could find that card anywhere.
Yeah. I'd probably say like 75 to 80% of the time, people are probably honest about it.
People in this hobby full of shit? No way.
I mean, if they're a stranger, then you're just meeting them or online, and I would say there's a greater chance, of course, that they're not being honest. But if you've dealt with the person before, you can almost be pretty sure that they're not lying to you.
Fair. John from Behind the Diamond was there. And
yes, John. I just reconnected with John. Great guy.
Love John. I look at John as one of the guys who, I don't want to say is a mentor, but for the lack of a better term, sure. Someone who I just look at as he collects the right stuff. He goes about his business the right way. So when I see his table filled with just Hall of Fame autographs, I told you when I went to Denver, I picked up that stuff with him in mind. I ended up selling John the cards that I bought in Denver.
Okay.
The Bob Gibson autograph, the Wade Boggs autograph. I took a little loss on it, but it's fine. I'm happy to do business with a friend. He bought the cards for me at a right price, and I sold them immediately after I picked up the Brunson. So they kind of just offset each other.
Smart. Yeah, pseudo trade because of the two.
Yeah, exactly.
One deal that was buying, one deal that was selling. You basically traded.
And an observation I had this cheap Jalen Brunson slab. It's his Prism, like fast break and a PSA 9 rookie. That was my most asked about card in my case. So the Brunson love in the New York area is very real.
Let's go. He deserves it. He deserves it. He's by far the best player on our team.
Love him. And I look at Brunson when I think about collecting. We talk about what do you want your collection to look like in 10 years. I think Brunson is one of the few athletes in present time that my future kids will be old enough to have watched maybe the tail end of his career and remember him as we're watching him right now, kind of in the early stages of his career.
Yeah. He's 27.
Mm-hmm.
So
give him another 10 years.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. I mean, I hope he can stay healthy, and he's already not the fastest, but I like that his game doesn't rely on speed. So I'd say he has at least another 5 years at this current level, but you never know how somebody's going to age. But you're right. He could, in 10 more years, he could, the jump he took since going to the Knicks, he improved 8 points a game from 16 on the Mavericks to 24 on the Knicks. Now he's 24.5 this season. Field goal percentage, 49% last year, 47% this year.
It's the demeanor. It's the demeanor for me, though.
And also this year, 45% from three. last year was 41%, but you're right. The demeanor, he's consistent, bro. Every single time he's consistent, he's steady, he's smart, he cares about the team, he's tough. He embodies so many New York qualities that, and that patch is great. Oh yeah, you got the
I'm seeing
talk,
double.
talk about those two.
This was an eBay win, just straight up auction.
Yep.
I put in a mini megabid, if you will.
Okay.
Happy to win this one. This one, someone accepted my offer for $40. Yes, please. Piece of the
Okay.
letter. I'll take
Now,
that.
Yes, that is cool. Now,
Go.
let's talk about the survey you took. This segues us perfectly into that because I thought that was really interesting. The survey you took pertaining to the two Jalen Brunson game used patches and which one people thought was better or cooler.
Yep.
So the debate was not between those two cards exactly, but it was between these two if you are watching on the Crosstown Cardboard YouTube. And basically, Craig was comparing and taking a survey, comparing the 4-color patch that he has of Jalen Brunson in the Knicks uniform, National Treasures, comparing that one to a patch, same numbering on the card, but instead of 4 colors, the other one he was comparing it to had a piece of the letter, and it was only 2 colors. So you get a much better feel for it if you're watching on the YouTube, but hopefully that's a good enough description. So basically, he was comparing a letter game used patch versus a 4-color game used patch. And I thought it was interesting. I'm excited to hear what you think about the survey, Craig, because first of all, you got a lot of votes. It was cool that
Dude,
you
got 200 votes, which was awesome.
200 votes. At the time I took the screenshot, it was almost around 200. And 60% of the people said they liked the 2-color patch, but part of the letter. 41% of people liked the 4-color patch better. So it was about 60-40 on 200 votes, which I feel like is a very fair sample size and impressive that you got that many. Mm-hmm. But what did you think? Were you surprised by the letter being the slight favorite, or did you expect that?
I am surprised. I don't know how much the picture had anything to do with it. The picture I took of the 4-color maybe wasn't the best, but I don't know how much that would have skewed the results.
That's a good point because it does pop off the page, the letter one a little bit more.
I think what it comes down to is the orange and the blue colors connect with me personally, but any card collector, everybody can relate to a letter patch.
That's a great point. Yeah, because as a Knicks fan, there's nothing that replaces that blue, orange, and white.
It just hits different.
Yeah. So
speaking of letter patches,
that's a good evaluation of it. Yeah.
But speaking of Knicks letter patches, did I tell you I finally pulled the trigger on that Patrick Ewing from AO Cards?
Yes, you did actually. Yeah. There you go. Letter patch. Oh. Yeah, we were talking about that one. Gold standard, numbered out of 10. Is that right?
Gold standard out of 25. Close though.
25. Okay, let's see it again. I liked it and I was thinking about going after it, but what'd you end up paying for it?
75.
Okay.
Good price. I don't need to. I want to continue talking about the Knicks for a second because it really ties into like my plans and cars, but I have one more show pickup I want to talk about.
Okay.
Did you see my vintage pickup?
I'm not sure.
I would really love to hear from another listener if they agree with this. I have noticed you go to a show, right? And there's guys who are vintage. They're just vintage guys.
Oh yeah, especially at the National.
Literally and figuratively vintage guys.
Okay, I think one might be a compliment. The other sounds like it's not quite as complimentary.
But have you noticed, again, I really haven't dove too much deep into this. The guys who really sell exclusively vintage, you're not getting good deals. They're all kind of overpriced.
Yeah, I don't even look at the vintage really, unless it's like a Bird Magic, that type of thing. Or like a Wilt, Bill Russell, Bob Cousy maybe. I have noticed that they're pretty firm. They don't. Yeah.
That could be a vast generalization. But anyway, I was at the show and I met a nice guy from England. His son was there. They had a bunch of soccer jerseys on the back. Smart_cards 33. They didn't really have
is that a Larry Bird that Patrick Ewing collector?
No, it's not. Totally unrelated. The 33 might be a coincidence. Okay. I don't know. But
Okay.
when you find a table that's not exclusively vintage, but they have some vintage cards,
Yeah.
that's sometimes where you could find some better deals. So I
Yeah.
was able to pick up this vintage card, which I thought was at a really fair price, and SGC was at the Hofstra show for grading drop-offs. So I
Okay.
was able to purchase this card raw, give it right to SGC. They take care of it and they'll mail it back to me. So I still paid the $15 to grade. I still paid the $15 to have it shipped back to me, but I didn't have to worry about shipping it to SGC or packaging up or anything. They did all of it. So that's an amazing feature at a card show is
Oh, yeah.
not on-site grading, but on-site drop-off.
Yes. And also SGC, perfect for a vintage card like the one you wanted to grade.
Bam. 1955, Jackie Robinson.
Wow. I didn't know you got that. Good for
Nice,
you.
right?
That's great. Yeah.
Great
Iconic card.
Amazing card. I paid 200 cash straight up for it.
Okay. Just in raw in that same holder there.
Correct.
And how was
Now,
the condition? What's your eye on the condition there?
my eye tells me even if it SGC ones, I'm still like more or less even because the eye appeal is decent, I think.
The color's popping. I can't.
Yeah.
They look like some rounded corners.
Some rounded quarters, some creases, maybe best case scenario a 3, probably more like a 1 or a 2. But even
Centering.
I've seen way worse. That's why I'm telling you the eye appeal is not bad. So
the photos look great. The photo looks great.
So just to have it slabbed up, anything but a miscut or authentic, I will take. Even if it wins, that's a win in my book. So I did not go into the show expecting to buy a vintage card, but I always say every show I want a PC purchase. So ideally, one Knicks PC card and one non-Knicks PC card.
So you're gonna PC the Jackie when you get it back, you're saying?
I had a 54 Jackie Robinson tops. That was the yellow one. It was vertical. I had that in a PSA 1, and I sold it a few years back, and I regret selling it. I'm not going to make that same mistake twice. I need a Jackie Robinson card in my collection. 55 tops will do it for me.
Wow.
Boom.
I like that because you're a sports historian. Let's be honest. Part of your collecting is not only remembering your own sports fandom with the Knicks, but also you're kind of a sports historian with your Muhammad Ali rookie card. And then, you got the Jackie Robinson, you got Sandy Koufax also, who's kind of a guy who's important to you and your dad, at the same time.
Sure.
So you got a little history going with a piece of your collection. And of course, the world champion. I always get a kick, when people win a championship in the United States, world champion. But because it's the Knicks, it's the world champion New York Knicks, and you have all of those cards, displayed all together, which we went through before on the show. But just to illustrate the point of, I like that aspect of your collecting where you like the figures and teams and stories of sports history and you show it through your collecting.
Yeah, and I think I found a really nice balance. I was talking to my friend Al about this, who's NYC Hoops Collector on Instagram. And we were discussing how you can collect your favorite teams, your favorite players, but do it in such a way that you're buying the right stuff. So it's not just your fandom, but it's an investment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe this isn't. Yeah, this is a fine example. I can get any Allen Houston card under the sun. Right? They've made thousands of cards, but this is a card. If I ever, for some reason, was really desperate to sell this, I'm pretty confident I could make my money back or a little bit more on it, which is not the plan at all, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a card that people will be interested in.
There you go.
And it has a factor to it more than just being a card of that player. Like, that's from the late 90s. It's an on-card auto. It's a cool die cut. Jalen Brunson with the piece of the letter. I mean, those are cards that have the cool factor that don't get impacted as much by time or market. For the right collector, of course. I mean, if you find a Knicks guy, they're going to be interested in that in most situations. So sure. I agree. I mean, I think you said that really well. And that kind of ties into the thought process behind a few of my moves, Craig, if you don't mind.
Well, I like the way you move.
Because what is that, Outcast?
Yes, it is. Very good. Which Outcast from Atlanta, which we'll be in next month together.
I'll tell you what, the card connections on this show, it is just unbelievable. So as we know, and I say we because we've been getting busy, both of us together, Crosstown and Cardboard. I picked up this card right here, Craig. Broadway Joe Namath, another inscription. And this is from the National Treasures Notable Nickname set, numbered 49 out of 49. So I like the last serial number too. Also gives me a little factor for it. And it's got the inscription Broadway Joe. That's how he signed it for Joe Namath. And it pairs well with the other Joe I got a nickname of, another notable nickname, Joe Montana. And he inscribed this one Joe Cool. So I got Broadway Joe, Joe Cool, and I got two iconic all-time quarterbacks. Legendary guys.
Winners.
Joe Namath guaranteeing the Super Bowl. Although that was some say he may have been set up by someone in the media, but of course, me being in the media, I have a stance on that. No, I'm just kidding. But Broadway Joe, the confidence, the swagger, the New York Jets Super Bowl leader in Super Bowl III. I mean, come on, heavy underdogs. He wasn't that great statistically. That's a funny thing, but just a New York icon. I mean, what kind of jackets does he wear? The bear fur
jackets.
Jacket.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the funny moment with Susie Colbert on the sideline, that was not his finest, but still part of the whole mystique and legend of the full person of Broadway Joe, and then combining it with Joe Cool. So I like the inscriptions, bro.
I like this lane that you're taking with the inscriptions.
Yeah.
It's you don't see it, but it makes sense that it's cool. It's different. And I feel like I could be totally wrong there. When you're looking for inscription autographs, there's like the right amount of supply out there where you're not overwhelmed. Like there's an inscription everywhere, but there's enough that exists that you could find the right stuff. And there'll always be a hunt.
Right. That's well said. And I think they're actually much more rare than what I thought. I mean, I thought it would be easier to find inscription cards, but if you look out there for Joe Cool or Broadway Joe inscriptions, there's only like a couple sets that, really produce them, and they're not readily available. So that's another thing I like about it. And I talked about that a few episodes ago, the personal part of the nicknames. I like to come up with nicknames in my job, as a sports broadcaster for highlights and stuff like that. And then, the scarcity of the cards in comparison to the regular one. I picked up another inscription to stay on the inscription train.
Hey now.
And this one, another legend. The first freshman to win the Heisman Trophy, Johnny Manziel. Johnny effing football. But he said it's a kid-friendly show. Craig is a high school teacher. We don't want to influence the kids negatively. But you know what it says if you're watching on the Crosstown Cardboard YouTube. Johnny effing football. And just the freshman winner of the Heisman Trophy, that all-time run he had at Texas A&M with Mike Evans as his wide receiver. But, taking down Alabama. I mean, what a story, this guy, off script plays. So I just wanted to get that inscription from our boy, Extraordinary Cards. Dave gave me a very fair deal on it. And I matched it up with my Pete Weber inscription, the bowler. Who do you think you are? I am. After he won a major tournament, when he yelled that out, it was just hilarious. So it's the same exact set from Leaf, the inscription, same year. And kind of cool. I might keep going after this set because especially being Leaf, it's cheaper, unlicensed. So they also make very cool products though, like the inscriptions. And I love that it's the same set. So happy to pick that one up. And that's also, PC with these inscription cards. I'm not looking to move them. So that's another exciting.
Ooh, because I had a thought how cool it would be if when we go to a show, Culture Collision, for example, if your entire showcase was just inscription autographs. That would attract a lot of eyes.
That's true. See, that's always the tempting part of it, But I mean, for the right price, of course. Maybe I'll price it a little bit higher. And that's also what I paid for these. Like I paid at comps basically for both of those, for the Broadway Joe, for the Manziel, for the Pete Weber, who I also got from Dave, Extraordinary Cards, for the Joe Montana. But, that's good for me because they don't pop up often and I really like them. And if they're not popping up often, that also helps if you go to sell it too. So happy to get those. Then I got to shout out our Knicks, another PC card. Name this player. Name this player. I know you don't know.
Ronaldo Bachman, because I was going to get that. Remember?
You were going to get this?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I messaged you. I said, I'm glad you ended up with it because you paid $25 for that, right?
I paid 15.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All day.
It was our boy Prolific Cards, and I messaged him, because we've been talking about him. He's a fellow Knicks collector, so he's frequently selling Knicks cards. And we've both done very fair and easy and great deals with him recently. And I was looking at comps. He was asking 30, and I was looking at comps. First of all, filthy. If you're not looking at the YouTube here.
05 exquisite.
It is 0607 exquisite rookie patch auto, but look at that 3-color patch and part of the letter. So that would totally settle the debate that you put up on your survey of one or the other, because this one has both. But really cool, exquisite RPA of Ronaldo Bachman, just a hustle guy. I mean, come on. Played his heart out there. Great Nick of our time. Not obviously the most skilled guy, but effort, team guy, rebounding, defense.
If I showed that card to my Knicks friends who are not card collectors, they would freak out at that card.
Right.
Yes.
And that's what you're talking about buying the right cards too of your guys. I mean, that kind of illustrates your point too. So I said, well, the last comp on this went for 10. I'll give you 15. Is that okay? Can we do 15? And he was like, yeah, that's great. So even though he had it priced at 30, with us being friends and me paying, basically having him sell it at comps and cover his shipping, it was nice and fair on both sides. Easy, boom. And I got a card that not many other people would probably care about, but me building my Knicks on-card auto PC and just being a RPA from Exquisite.
Cool.
Yeah, that kind of falls into the Allen Houston category of what you picked up.
Someone at some point pulled that from a box, and that box probably cost them $500-$600. So you're win. I picked up a card from Extraordinary from Dave as well.
Yeah.
Nothing. No. This is cool. I shouldn't say that. Erling Haaland.
Wait. Let me see. Let's get into the Knicks thing first because because you mentioned that you were about to buy this one from Prolific, and you got a card that I was also looking at, and here's where we may run into a friendly conflict.
Well, first, I think everything ties together. What we talk about here.
Yep.
I went to Bleecker Trading. They have a new storefront. I've told you it. I went to Bleecker Trading a couple weeks ago. Just picked up some stuff because I keep saying I need stuff. I'm going to shows. I need stuff.
I need stuff.
This is the only card I have.
To put it simply, I need stuff.
This is the only card I have left over from my stuff. De'Aaron Fox, college on-card autograph rookie cards. Oh, that was cool. Rookie, he's playing great.
And the Contenders again, rookie ticket.
Contenders.
And is that on card? You said. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Kentucky. He had a great year.
Kentucky guards, bro. If you're a Kentucky guard, the future's bright.
Forget it. You know who it started with? Derrick Rose. Oh no, he's Memphis. John Wall. I was thinking Calipari. John Wall. You had Eric Bledsoe.
Thumbnail this.
I wish it could be like a what
gift.
Is it called? A boomerang.
Gift.
A boomerang or a gift. Yeah.
But you're gonna love this. So I was at Bleecker because I need stuff. Where else does Bleecker tie into this story? This episode is going to air Wednesday.
Yep.
So if you're hearing this episode on this very day, I am taking my card club on a field trip to Bleecker.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
That'll be great. They've never been, right?
This current group, no. So I got 13 kids coming, 11 current card club members, 2 alumni. We're going to Bleecker. We're going to Cards and Coffee. Our first and definitely not our last card club field trip for the year. So stay tuned, but I'm excited for my students to see what a shop looks like.
That's great. That'll be great for us to talk about next episode too.
And there's also this Saturday, Bleecker not really doing a trade night, but they're calling it a showcase spectacular.
Whoa, I like that much better than a trade night. That puts like some sazon on the trade night.
Yeah, and I'm pretty flattered that I was asked to be a dealer. They say dealer. I'm treating this like a showcase. So Black Jaded Wolf is one of the dealers. You
Wow.
see who's on the bottom right there?
Wiz the Collector, friend of the
Wiz.
program,
Yeah.
guest on the program. Also, great episode if you haven't heard that one.
So this Saturday, 2 to 6 p.m. at Bleecker, a showcase spectacular. Yes, I am technically a dealer, but I am not treating this event like I'm there to sell. If you see what it says next to my username, New York City Sports Cards, Soccer, and Knicks, for the first time, I am taking all my Knicks PC and I am bringing it with me to showcase.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Showcase.
A little Knicks museum, if you will.
Exactly. I am not there to sell any of it. I am a card collector and I love my Knicks personal collection. So I am there to display my best Knicks cards out for others to see and enjoy. I'm going to do the same thing with my soccer cards. And I think this is the first time that I'm actually taking all my Knicks patches and autographs and I'm putting them out there for people to see. And I'm excited to share it with others.
Wow. That is very exciting. Hopefully you get some well-deserved flowers, which I'm sure you will. Not that that's what you're going out there to do, but to show other people and relate to them about the Knicks. And of course, just to have a cool appreciation for the work you've put in from, I'd imagine, a lot of other Knicks fans. Are you going to bring the display of all the old school Knicks tall boy cards?
That's at my parents' house. My
Oh.
wife definitely won't let me hang that up in our 750 square foot apartment.
But the wall doesn't take any of the square footage. You got to tell Rachel.
Listen, I have one Knicks piece hung up here. I'll take that. I don't want to get greedy. Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, because you're planning it at the right time. Get greedy when you have a home. When you settle down, you got the, you can nail it in. It's not coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Before we get into the other Knicks card we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because you talked about Dave Extraordinary Cards. What I love about Dave is he will let you trade into anything if the price is right. So I was able to take a bunch of stuff, football fluff, if you will, along with some cash, and I was able to get an Erling Haaland rookie card, a numbered rookie card.
Oh, okay. Wow, you're back on the Holland train. You haven't talked about him in a little while.
I haven't, but if you look on the Showcase Spectacular, it says New York City Sports Cards, Soccer, and Knicks. So my Knicks stuff's coming out. My soccer stuff's coming out, and Haaland rookie year numbered stuff is always good buys.
Wow, what did that one go for?
Valued it at $670.
Wow, that's a pretty big card.
Yeah, I mean, the PSA 9 and BGS 9.5 both recently did 700, so let's just call it a $700 card.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
So that was Dave from Extraordinary Cards, but you're a little salty over a deal I made with Mikey's cards.
Okay. Salty. I mean, yes, I am. You. It's not my favorite to hear that reflected back to me.
You're a salt of the earth guy.
Don't spin zone. What are you, PR or you're a teacher?
Maybe both.
Okay, so let's. Yeah, I am a little salty.
You could go search Patrick Ewing patch on eBay right now. There'll be tons of results. So how do you pick one that stands out? Nice, big and chunky, multicolored, and the brand certainly doesn't hurt. Because what brand do we love on this show for patch cards?
Flawless.
We love Flawless, don't we?
Okay, don't rub it in before you even show it. Let's see it. Yeah,
there it is. So Patrick Ewing.
Oh my gosh!
But the nice thing about it is, let me pull this up. This is 2013-14 Flawless Patrick Ewing game-worn patch, numbered out of 25. Now, this card belongs in my collection because there's the Patrick Ewing 13-14, and there is my Charles Oakley also.
Wow.
2013-14.
I did not know they were the same years and the same exact, horizontal fat patches, same patch window, which I really like. And so
patch Rick Ewing.
Oh my God. Now that you've paired those two up, I feel much better about losing out on that card to you, because that Patrick Ewing patch is chunky and fat. And the Charles Oakley's cool for a different reason of it being like a kind of a piece of the letter, but you got the whole like curvature of that might be the 3. What do you think that is on Patrick Ewing's jersey?
Oof. I'm going to ask Prolific. I feel like he's the guy that would know exactly where that patch comes from.
I'd probably be able to figure it out. But that is an insane patch. And what was that, like 200?
He had it up at 260. There were
Okay.
recent sales for 240, 250, but that's a card you pay comps or a little above on.
So what'd you say, 250?
But he let me trade. I had an Oscar Robertson autograph that I picked up on card. So I traded the Oscar Robertson autograph plus 180 cash.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good.
I mean,
and that's a PC card. You pair it up with the Oakley. I'm happy for you. That's
thank you.
Yeah, that's very cool. The patches on those are very cool. Both of them great patches.
Yeah, and I need it to be delivered hopefully by this Saturday so I could display it.
Right next to Charles. You got Patrick and Big Charles, center and power forward.
Jalen, Allen. I can't wait. I'm very excited to have all my Knicks cards out at once.
Cool.
So we've been getting busy.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to finish it off. I mean, that was action packed, and I still didn't even get through all my cards. I'll save them for next time because
are you sure?
They deserve their own. They deserve. What do you think, bro? You want to see?
I do want to see.
All right.
Only because we do have some special stuff planned the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, so we'll give the audience a little encore. We were exiting the stage. The crowd wanted more, or at least Craig wanted more.
Cards.
Nice. So, all right. So I got these 2 Pop Century cards, and I think I paid like 15 total for these 2 on Facebook. Okay, but tell me this pairing isn't cool. Pop Century Duos. It's movie used fabric, like part of their ensemble.
Right.
Bradley Cooper and Zach Galifianakis. Dual. Right.
Yeah. Nice.
That's cool. I mean, that's an iconic duo, even though they were the Wolf Pack, with 4 of them. But, I mean, the 2 stars were these 2 guys. No disrespect to Ed Helms. He's also great. Dentist. How about this one? Name this movie. Name this movie. Ice Cube, Lawrence Fishburne, and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, should I know this?
You should.
I don't.
Oh my gosh. It's Boys in the Hood.
Okay. I should have known that.
Great movie.
A movie worn fabric card. That's cool.
Yeah. 1991 Boys in the Hood. So a little bit before our time.
Why is that stuff not worth more?
I don't know. I thought it was, really cool. That's why I got it. But
what actor or like musician card would have to come out where like those prices would compete with?
No. Well, it's never going to compete with the licensed stuff, unfortunately. But I mean, for the movie use stuff, there is no, or very few of actual, licensed things like that. So I don't know. I think it's super cool.
What if like a Tupac cut signature came out? What does that fetch?
Oh, if it's a cut auto, that's going to be a lot.
What about a Biggie worn relic card, but like a piece of his Coogee sweater?
That would be great. Yeah.
Right?
I don't know how many Coogee sweaters you could get off of him, but
it's a lot. Hey, I'll tell you what, if you do get one, it's a lot of, worn jersey cards you could make.
I mean, he is Biggie, so. And last one, this one's fun because it's a card from my really close friend's brother. My friend, remember I went to Spain for a wedding a little bit over a year ago, and I was I was a groomsman for my close friend, and his brother decided to start collecting sports cards, and he listens to the podcast. His name's Jeff. Yep. First Rate Sports Cards is his Instagram. Very, very nice guy. One of my closest friends growing up and still closest friends' brother. And since he listens to the podcast, he just wanted to provide a show of appreciation and a nice moment. And he gave me this Clemson Hunter Renfrow Saturday Star Prism Silver Auto. And he sent it saying, "Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for giving me great content this year."
Wow, that's nice.
It was right after our Thanksgiving episode that he sent that. So yeah,
Thanks,
shout out to Jeff. Shout out to Jeff. Great guy. He's getting back into the hobby, going to shows, and we've been going back and forth texting, about our card journeys. And he's a Duke collector also, so we got the JJ Redick thing going as well. But what a cool gesture, for him to send me, knowing that I'm down here in South Carolina. Hunter Renfroe, Prism Auto, of course, caught the game-winning touchdown in the national championship from Deshaun Watson. Iconic moment. And actually, the photo that he's pictured in on the Prism card is from the 2016 college football playoff. So
wow. Nice.
Very cool that run of 2 national championships for Clemson in 3 seasons.
PC.
For the Clemson PC. So shout out to Jeff. And we definitely got busy.
We did,
in the past couple weeks.
Last tidbit. Speaking of wide receivers and going back to Big Ken, right when the show started, me and Big Ken were talking football. I'm like, Big Ken, it's a big week for me in fantasy. I don't know if I should start Drake London or Zay Jones. And Ken says, I was listening on the radio here, and they were saying that Drake London's going to have a big week. So I started Drake London, and because of that decision, I earned myself a bye into the semifinals.
Wow. Big Ken with a big decision.
Mm-hmm.
And a big impact on your football team.
Yeah. So cards. Thanks, cards.
Thanks, cards, for the cards and the connections.
I'm excited for the next 2 episodes to close out the year, I think.
Yep.
Did I get that right?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. We'll have, that'll be, so we'll have this episode and then 2 more before the year's end. And that'll
one of them. Yep. I will be recording from Miami. So you already know we're hitting up some shops.
Oh, shoot. You're about to become a Dolphins collector.
Nope.
All right. Sorry I mentioned it.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got for you.
And the 2 things that you're doing at Bleecker, the Showcase Spectacular and
Saturday.
The field trip with Card Club, the high school students. Can't wait to hear about that in the next episode. That's going to be off the charts as far as what people thought. I mean, of course, they're going to really enjoy your Knicks showcase, and bet you're able to maybe get any more Knicks cards, and then what your high school students' impressions were of Bleecker and just their continued development in the hobby.
That's it. Good stuff. You keep up the good work too.
Thanks, bro.
I see you. I see you out there.
Same to you.
Peace.